I'm joined by Brian Adcock at the Triathlon Series 2012. Early March, and race season is fast approaching, and you've got lots of great races to talk about. You're the main man behind the Castle Triathlon Series, which I've just been looking at the information, and I know about Hever Castle. Didn't know about the rest of the races, but it looks so exciting. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it is exciting. I guess it's our 4th year of training as the Castle Triathlon Series, and numbers are double what they were this time last year. So we're very pleased with the progress that we've made. We've added a new castle this year out in Ireland. A bit of a story behind that, and the owners are called a family called the Gwyn Joneses, and they're good friends of the guys that own Castle Howard. And they were having a drinks party and bemoaning the fact that the Celtic tiger had been slain in Ireland and they were short of cash. What could they do? And the Howard suggested that they got in touch with us. So we're taking a triathlon out to Ireland, which is fantastic news. Really different and interesting market out there. The Irish are very, very keen to get involved. We're Triathlon Ireland sanctions now out there, which is the way that you kind of have to do business. And it is the most stunning private castle you've ever come across. In fact, so much so that the locals are more interested just to come down as spectators because they've never been into the grounds before. So we can't wait to put that one on.
That sounds a little bit like that TV programme, The Country Restoration or something like that, where they need to turn their mansion into sort of a profitable business.
I mean, a lot of these estates aren't diversifying, so normally they make money through farming, tenancy, and the odd event, and a lot of them are looking outside the box now and thinking, what else can we do? And I've always maintained that castles were built for triathlon because obviously they've got the moats or the lakes, they've got beautiful grounds, and they're generally in beautiful parts of the countryside, so it suits our format brilliantly.
I was in Galway in September last year for the half, the 70.3 race, and the weather was quite atrocious, so I've really got my fingers crossed for you that you're going to have better weather this year. I think kind of falling in June and not kind of towards the end of summer hopefully will work in your favour.
And we're in a lake.
Exactly.
Which is quite well protected, so we won't have any problems sort of swim-wise. Who's to say whether it will rain or not? But I was there in June last year, and we had absolutely brilliant weather, and so it tends to follow us around. We book the weather.
One thing I sort of noticed in Galway was that you kind of can't imagine that there's such a huge triathlon following in Ireland, but it's massive, and the camaraderie and the atmosphere. I remember the 70.3 race, it was just phenomenal. Even at 5 o'clock in the morning, it was sort of like minus 10 degrees.
Yeah, no, I've experienced it in a small way. I did the Limerick Duathlon about 3 weeks ago, so I thought I ought to go out and at least sample an Irish race before we put one on. And it was very similar, very, very friendly, well organised. The support, even for just a sort of a club duathlon, was fantastic. So I think if we can get even a small part of that to Lochutra in June, then we'll be laughing.
You have quite a good philosophy behind the races, don't you? It's kind of almost like slightly old school with a great customer service thing. It's kind of bring everyone in, bring the family in, bring the kids. It's kids racing as well, right? Yeah,
no, we want to create a family festival. That's what we're all about. I've run an events company now for about 10 years, and only in the last 3 years have I got involved with triathlon again, having been a triathlete when I was in my early 20s. So it's been nice to apply some of the things that we've learned in the events industry about customer services and the way how to put on an event and look and the feel to the triathlon market. And I think the triathlons there's literally hundreds of them around the country, but from my experience, normally people are doing it particularly well, and we like to think that we're sort of pushing the boundaries of what can be done and what should be done at these events.
Yeah, I've certainly heard very good things, especially about Hever Castle, which was your first event, wasn't it?
Yeah, we started that in 2009, and we sold 1,000 places in about 4 weeks, and each year we basically doubled in numbers. So this year we're expecting 5,000 adults and children to turn up, which will put us pretty much on a par with Blenheim as the second biggest race in the country. So we're very excited. It should be the biggest kids race in Europe. So it's good. It's a good, great site.
And tell us about the races in between Ireland and
Sure. So Ireland is 3rd of June, and then we go to Cholmondeley Castle in Cheshire, 24th of June, which is again a stunning private castle. They literally chuck us the keys on the Friday evening and say just put it back in the way that you found it, which is lovely. More land and beautiful places to camp and fantastic fantastic scenery than you could shake a stick at. And then we go from there to the 22nd of July when we go to Castle Howard in North Yorkshire. Again, fantastic race scenery. It was the setting for Brideshead Revisited, which most people know it for. And that in itself is a fantastic race. And then we go out to France for the 26th of August, which is the Chantilly International now. We have an English GBR team going out to race against the French, which is very exciting. Mark Threlfall, who was our series winner last year, is pulling the English team together. And then we finish up back at Hever on the 29th, 30th of September to finish off the season. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the sort of higher level athletes that you expect to be racing. Obviously it's a series.
Yeah.
And you're expecting a fairly good turnout. It's a big year, is it? Olympic year.
Absolutely, and we've taken a sponsor on board, Markel, who are a big insurance company, and they're very keen to get the event out there to as many people as possible. And so we've contacted Richard Downey, and we're hoping to get the Brownlees to come to either Chantilly or to Hever after the Olympics. And so that's sort of ongoing negotiations at the moment, which is quite exciting. But I guess our races appeal to kind of the level below the Brownlees, the development squad. So I'm speaking a lot to Gavin Smith and to Jack Maitland, and as they're bringing the developing squads on, then they'll quite often push their athletes towards our races. So we've had, I mean, all kinds of age groupers, but the likes of Mark Threlfall, a guy called Watson from Loughborough, another guy called Clark from Loughborough, who've come down. David Bishop's raced at our events. In fact, he won Hever last year. Colin Dixon is a well-known age grouper that you've heard of. Not so many elite ladies, although Lizzie Brammer has won a number of our races, who's more renowned for her Ironman prowess, but she uses them as training races. So yeah, we're getting there with the elites, but you know, we could always do with more, and we always offer the elites free places as you'd expect. And if they form part of one of our international teams, so we have an international match against the French, then we'll pay for their travel and accommodation, which is what we're actually doing in Ireland as well. So the Irish are putting up a development team against our GB team. So
overall series
prizes, £600 per race for the winner, 300 for a run-up, 100 for the third place, and then there's an overall series prize of a similar amount of money, depending on, they have to do 3 out of the 5 races to qualify.
So it's well worth them.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly for the developing athletes, then you know, it's sort of the attractive prize money. Yeah.
Where do people need to go to find out more about the races?
We have a website which is www.castletriathlonseries.co.uk.
And first race is on the 3rd of June?
Actually, it's not. It's on the 16th of May.
Okay.
We've got an evening series which is taking place at Hever Castle, and we do just a sprint distance, or there's a couple of different formats for the adults. We do children's races as well. Racing starts at 5 in the evening and goes through till about 9 o'clock, and they're cracking little training events. Yeah.
Really good training events.
Yeah.
And keep our fingers crossed for warm weather. The races are selling out, aren't they, quite quickly?
They are selling out quite quickly, particularly Hever, so yeah, I would get on with it if you're thinking of doing it.
Exactly. Right, it's been lovely to talk to you, and races.
Cheers.